The hollow body hold is one of the key movements that you'll need to master in order to get really strong at calisthenics. By working on this drill, you'll learn how to build tension in your torso, which will translate over to pretty much any of the main calisthenics movements that you can think of, whether that's a push-up, a pull-up, a muscle-up. The ability to be really strong and tense in the torso will help a lot for your overall control and ability to get stronger over time. Here's a quick demo of the full hollow body hold position. I'm gonna go flat on my back. I have my legs reaching out long, my arms reaching, my shoulders are lifted slightly off the floor, my knees are straight, my toes are pointed. I have tension in the neck, but not straining, just keeping a nice neutral position, and I am holding the position here. As we go through some progressions here, I want you to think about two main cues as you go. First one is low back stays flat to the floor the whole time. If you have that in mind, that should help you to figure out what progression to work on and to build from there. The other cue, as I mentioned, is about straining the neck, so we don't want unnecessary tension in the neck. Some tension is fine, you'll have to in order to do the movement, but not a ton of strain in the upper traps here and the neck and just like too much tension overall. Different coaches have different approaches with learning this movement. So I'm going to show you the variations and progressions that I learned and that I use with my clients now. I have everyone start laying flat on the back with the feet flat on the floor, hands at the sides. And first variation here, we're going to tuck the low back so it's flat to the floor, slightly lift the shoulders off the floor. Again, tension in the neck, but not a ton of strain. And then we just lift the feet. And we start here. Okay, this is your first variation. Once you can hold here for about 30 seconds with really clean, solid technique, we're gonna keep the upper body the same and just try extending one leg at a time. So you can hold or you can alternate back and forth. Now, already right here, you might feel that your low back wants to pop up off the floor. If that's the case, you can try a little bit less. So instead of going quite so low, you might go more here, right? And start with that and then build to go lower over time. Once you're able to hold this position with the leg pretty much at full range here, you don't need to go too much lower. Once you can do that for a solid 30 seconds, then you're ready to progress to the next variation. From there, what we'll do is extend and we extend the other leg. Now, that's super tough to do, so that's a pretty big jump there. So again, one way that I like to adjust this is to just not bring the legs quite so low to start. You'll probably feel if your low back starts to pop up off the floor, you'll know that it's a little too much for now. So instead of being quite so low, you can be a little bit higher and train it this way. Again, start with the legs higher as needed, then work to bring them down over time. Once you're able to hold here with good control, low back staying flat, then we can start to work on the arms. So maybe you bring them up here and ultimately you can work to bring them fully overhead. We don't want to drop the shoulders down, so keep them up. And again, my neck there's tension in order to keep the neck up, but not straining so much that you cause any issues there. If you get to the point with your hollow hold that you can hold that final position for 30 seconds for several sets, at least 3, then we can get into some more fun progressions. The hollow rock is the one that most people are familiar with, so I will demo that. I'm gonna set up in that same hollow body position here, and then for the first rep, I do move the hips a little bit, but after that, I rock back and forth. And note that the angle of my hips is not changing. So I'm not kind of like kicking in like this, right? I'm keeping this angle the same. So my whole body moves as a unit. That's where you're going to get the most benefit. As soon as you start moving in the hips, you lose the point of the drill. With the hollow rock, the same concept applies. So build up to be able to do 30 seconds, a few sets like that. In terms of the cues for the hollow hold, I like to think about, again, low back flat to the floor, pull the belly button in, that can help with that, and tucking the ribs a bit so we don't want the ribs flaring. Tuck can be a really helpful cue as well. And then again, thinking about neck not having too much tension, some, but not like a strain, not hunching up, anything like that. And then, of course, all the usual cues. So locked knees, pointed toes, breathe, right? All that good stuff. And this should carry over to your general calisthenics strength and overall abilities. Without this, it's going to be tough to be able to do some of the really advanced movements like a planche, for example. You have to be able to have tension here and control that in order to get into those tougher positions. In terms of programming the hollow body hold into your routine, a couple options. So, if somebody's fairly new to calisthenics training or training in general, I like to program this earlier in the session as one of the primary movements so that they can really focus on building up their control and core tension. If you're a little bit more advanced or even intermediate, just if you have some experience already and you're already working on maybe muscle ups or some other tougher drills, you can either be using this hollow body hold as part of your prep and warm up to kind of prime yourself for the tougher movements, or you can throw it in at the end as more of a conditioning type movement. This is a very important drill, so no matter what your focus is, calisthenics, or even if you lift weights or whatever else you do, learning how to create and control tension in the torso is going to be really helpful for all your training. Give this a shot. Let me know how the progressions go. And of course, if you have questions, let me know in the comments.